A warm welcome to the All Things Year 6 podcast, where we unravel the maze that is Year 6 and the all-important transition to Year 7. My name is Ty Aina, and in today's episode, I'll be discussing why some children find maths a challenge and sharing 4 ways that you can support your child to get back on track with their maths learning. If you tuned in to episode 1, you would have heard me share just how much I love maths. It is my specialist subject, and I am really passionate about just simply getting students to first like or love maths and then to support them to achieve their full potential. One of the things that I hear from students when they are sharing their experiences of maths with me is that they like maths when they understand what they are learning and when they are getting the questions right. They dislike maths when they do not understand what's been taught and when it appears that they are constantly making mistakes and getting questions wrong. Let me start by first putting into context why some children begin to have a disconnect with maths. Now, it's important to say at this stage that I'm not talking about children who have a specific and persistent difficulty in understanding numbers. So children who perhaps have dyscalculia. That is a specific learning need around maths and would require further investigation and specific and planned support put in place. I'm talking about children who, liked maths, appeared to have no difficulty understanding maths, and then suddenly out of the blue, there's a disconnect. When children first start their primary journey, it's fair to say, I think, that a lot of children, like maths. They don't appear to struggle with it. They don't appear to find it challenging. They appear to be, getting the questions right. That's because in the first few years of primary, the maths curriculum is quite narrow. Of course, as they move through primary, the curriculum broadens and the level of challenge of the objectives also increase. It's natural for children to start meeting challenges, to start struggling, to suddenly feel the need to ask their teacher questions, whereas perhaps previously they didn't need to because they understood everything. And inevitably, they are going to start making mistakes and getting questions wrong. What happens appears to be, something of a shock to the system and a loss of confidence. Children start questioning whether, in fact, they were ever good at this subject, maths, because if they were, how could they now suddenly be meeting challenges and struggling and getting questions wrong? And so this knocks their confidence, self-doubt creeps in, and a disconnect starts to creep in as well. If this isn't addressed, it's just literally added to each year as the curriculum broadens and the challenge increases. And this can continue for their later years in primary and through to secondary. And for some parents, it can be a shock as well. I've heard parents say to me that, they didn't have problems with maths before, but it's all of a sudden they don't like maths, they're struggling, they don't appear to be, performing as well when it comes to assessments. So, what can you do to get your child back on track? I'm going to share 4 ways that you can support your child to reconnect with maths. The first way is for you to be that support. So when your child comes home with a piece of homework that they do not understand, they're struggling with, you might find them perhaps frustrated, a bit distressed, you need to sit alongside your child to help them to reinforce or reteach the learning. So the objective or objectives within that piece of homework. This might require daily intervention or a couple of times a week, but you are that first port of call in terms of support. Now, I know that some of you are going to say, I myself am not, particularly confident with my maths. I don't know whether I'm teaching my child the correct method. This brings me on to the second way you can support your child to get back on track. And that's to search for available resources online. One of the most used platforms is YouTube. You can put a search into YouTube using keywords or the actual objective, and you will be provided with lots of available video tutorials. Up-to-date video tutorials that you can watch first and then teach your child later, or you can watch alongside your child, or if your child is old enough and with parental guidance, you can let your child watch alone. Outside of YouTube video tutorials, of course, good old Google, you can again put in keywords or the objective at hand, and you will be inundated with worksheets, with additional, questions that your child can do with teaching. So worksheets that someone has created with written guidance. The third way that you can support your child to get back on track is to see what your child's school has to offer. So perhaps engage with your child's class teacher, share the challenges, the difficulty that your child is having, and together with the teacher, come up with a plan. Part of this plan might be to simply access what your child's school already provides. A lot of schools will have written guidance on the methods used at school for key topic areas in maths, such as number and place value and the 4 operations. So look on the school website and see if this written guidance is available. In addition to this, some schools will actually provide parent sessions. So sessions where you are invited to school to join your child during planned maths lessons, where again the teaching is focused on those key topic areas, number and place value, the 4 operations. And so you are in school learning alongside your child. So do check out what your child's school provides. The fourth and final way is to look for outside support in the form of a tutor. So there are many tutoring agencies out there. There are many private tutors that offer fantastic teaching. Of course, I recommend that if at all possible, when you're looking for a tutor, do so through recommendation. So ask friends and family if they can recommend a tutor to you for your child. Engage with that tutor, have discussions about your child's needs. You do need to match the tutor to suit your child's personality, perhaps your child's learning style. So, do some research around the tutor before you employ the services of a tutor. I think the bottom line is that you need to have a plan. The worst thing to do is to do nothing and just hope that the problem will simply go away. that at some point it will rectify itself and your child will just get back on track with their maths learning. In all my years of teaching, I've never seen that happen. So the worst thing to do is to do nothing. The 4 ways that I've shared in today's episode do not have to be used in isolation. You can combine 2 or 3 of them, or you can use all of them to help to get your child back on track. All these methods, the 4 ways that I've shared tonight, require an investment from you. But the returns for your child will make it all worthwhile. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. I hope you've been able to take away something and feel that, yes, I can, go forward and start tackling this disconnect that my child has with maths and feel confident about getting them back on track. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for listening. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.